one tackles what I did, the other tackles the essence of my being. So as a parent, and one of the things parents need to know is that as a parent, you have both spiritual and physical dominion over your child.
Okay.
And so when you keep telling him, say, we that is the wires that you are laying. That is the cement that you are casting. And so this child grow up and he cannot hold a job.
I was very feepa, but at the top of my class. I was very feepa, but top of my class. Like, I mean,
today you are looking so swanky.
Very sharp, very sharp. Had you not confessed, we would not have known. We would not have known.
Wow, I get it. So I can organize my books, everything. That's like it. My notes is written well. I'm learning. I'm passing. Yeah. But if you get into the room,
we'll run away.
So you see, you as a person was different from your room. But and yet a lot of parents miss the two. Why are you so clumsy? I am not clumsy. The fact that I tripped and broke one glass doesn't make me clumsy. So parents need to know that. And when you attack a child's personality, they switch off. And a lot of children have switched off. Yeah, a lot of children have switched off from their parents. So they can't talk back at you, they can't insult you back, but they are insulting you in their head. And in their head, they blocked you. And that is where the communications lines get closed. So parents need to know to sit and to discuss with children how you want the home to be run and managed. And then when they make a mistake, attack the mistake, not their personality. If you do that, you will get them to cooperate with you in the running of the home.
Wow. We have a few messages here. I see someone is also sending us a voice note, and we've exceeded our time. We have just about 5 minutes to wrap up. But this conversation is for the whole month, all right? So maybe you missed some part of it. That's okay. You sent some message we could not read. Don't worry. We're going to gather all these and make sure they're addressed. But we have a message that says about the meeting bit. At what age do we start that? Because a 2-year-old would definitely not understand a thing about a meeting.
They understand. Make no mistake. I told you that at 18 months they've developed well. And so at that point they know exactly what they are doing. So sit with them and then talk to them, look into their eyes. They can understand you. Don't be aggressive, don't be insulting, but look into their eyes and talk, communicate with the child about what is expected, what is not expected, what you allow, what you won't allow. And from then on, anything you allow, you'll continue to do more of that.
So basically, at 2, if you ever thought that your 2-year-old does not understand being a part of a meeting, and now you know they do, and they started understanding a year 8 months.
That's right.
All right, this one, Nana Kojo, can I have this message? How do we correct a wrong start? During my second pregnancy, I battled with depression. I'd lost my job while pregnant and just went south. I'm concerned it affected my child, as I've noticed some behavior in that child, and would appreciate any pointers to help with that. I don't know if Elder Amos, you'd want to comment on that. Hello, Elder. Elder Amos?
Hi, Jenny.
Okay, please, did you hear that question?
Can you repeat it?
Okay, how do we correct a wrong start? During my second pregnancy, I battled with depression. I'd lost my job while pregnant and just went south. I'm concerned it affected my child, as I've noticed some behavior in that child, and would appreciate any pointers to help with that.
Okay, well, I hope that I said depression was clinically diagnosed. Sometimes people go online, Google stuff, and then they see the symptoms, and then they conclude I'm depressed. Now, if it was clinically diagnosed, that's fine. If it wasn't, please don't be quick to conclude that you're depressed. Now, you're seeing a change of behavior or emotional responses in the child. Seeing it alone is a very good first step. Now, the question then that arises is, what help is available? So you quickly would have to find a clinical psychologist or a psychiatrist or a counselor to sit with you and have conversations with you as a mother. Now, it is easy for us to get into the space where we start blaming ourselves for something wrong. Sometimes we get overwhelmed as human beings. And when you acknowledge you're overwhelmed, the next real response is to get someone to sit with you, talk with you,
Okay.
Provide the guidance that be positive about the efforts you're making as a mother. Of course, losing job and going through all those, hiccups can be quite turbulent in the life of an individual. But every parent will tell you that your first child, the way you manage them, and your second child, they're always not the same.
Yeah.
It's either you qualitatively improve on the previous or you depreciate in terms of quality outlook of the second one. And whatever it is, we can always get it. Okay. Which is the reason I like what Michael and they are doing through Lead African National and their leadership path, because they have resources online for parents who need resources but cannot find the luxury of time to access them. At the click of a button, both you as a parent and your child can have access to resources right in the comfort of the home. Otherwise, you can join teaching activities that reinforce and strengthen the bond that parents have. I mean, they tell us book, A Child Called It. Many have read that.
A Child Called
Many have not.
It.
When Michael was talking about the bit of depersonalizing behavior, sometimes we make it look like he said the child is the problem that has been created. But the child themselves is not the problem. It may be they are struggling with something they are not able to describe or even be able to handle. And in that overwhelming situation, they need somebody to empathize with them. Put yourself in the shoes of the child.
Okay.
Many parents are beating their children, scolding their children, yelling at their children. And when it says that things the child is struggling, they actually struggle. Our first daughter, I remember, at a point was working bed, and she was just about 6 or 7. And everyone was always worried. So one day I took her and said, look, when I was in class 6, I was working bed. I had dreams, and by the time I wake up, I'd wet my bed. So don't beat yourself. She's less than 1 hour that day. And that actually calmed the water.
Okay.
And when I went to secondary school, there were sixth-formers who were reported to have wet their beds. And they would tell you, I was standing at the balcony and I felt I was urinating before I realized I'd wet my bed. Even adults, it's happening to them. So when it happens to a child, let's manage our emotions. See, most of the problem is how we manage our emotions.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dave has a book also. It's titled A Man Named Dave. Now, if you haven't read that, look at that. Because if you read A Child Called Dave and you don't read A Man Called Named Dave, you don't get a full picture very well.
Elder Amos, thank you very much. Our time is up.
It's always my honor.
We've got to wrap up, but we continue next week with our same guests, and we're hoping to have Elder Amos live next week to join Mr. Michael Ohene-Effah as we continue this conversation. We've seen some of your messages. In fact, we didn't even exhaust the questions we had sent. We're hoping to discuss with them, but we're glad that we can have a whole month of this conversation, because I think, this is a lot taking in. We're going to have to break a lot of things down, take your questions as well. So in just 60 seconds, Mr. Michael Ohene-Effah, for every parent who's joining, for every caregiver, every auntie, every grandfather, every uncle whose boys listening, following the conversation, even those who have girls who are following this conversation, in 60 seconds, what would you say to wrap up, as we hope to have you again next week?
Well, in all my interactions with boys and young people, they complain to me. I can sum up their frustrations in 3 words. One, they think their parents don't listen to them, so they think they don't have a voice.
A few times I've heard my daughter say, Mommy, why are you not listening to me?
Now, Stephen Covey said the biggest communication barrier is that a lot of us listen to reply. We don't listen to understand. So from today, begin to listen to your child. What we do is that we see children from our adult perspective. We forget that your child has only 7 years experience in life. So don't compare your 35-year-old, 40-year-old, 55-year-old experience to 7 years. So listen to understand them. 2, they think we don't trust them, and so they lie to us because we punish them for telling us the truth. And so they begin to lie, because when they lie, you actually let them off the hook. So let us learn to trust our children. Why did you do this? Oh, Mommy, I didn't see, that's why I did it. End of story. But when you punish your children for telling you the truth, they'll begin to lie to you more. And then they want time. They want time. Now, the research says that if you can just spend 1% of your time a day with your child, you can get them to behave in the right way. 1% of your time every day translates into 14 minutes. That's all you need. 14 minutes of just talking. How was your day? What good thing happened to you today? Did you have any experiences? Don't say, how was your day? Fine, mommy. And that's it. End of conversation. Because you are then off to either listen to radio or listen
or
to
get on your
news
phone on
or
Facebook.
get on your phone or something. 14 minutes a day.
14.
Of putting everything, shutting down TV. And I'm not talking about you talking to them over TV. Of concentrated, quiet talking to them, hearing their stuff, their experiences in school, the fact that somebody took their toy. You know, for them, that is a big deal. It's a big deal. That's like Land Cruiser. The toy to a 4-year-old is your Land Cruiser. But for you, you think, oh, this plastic thing that somebody threw away, is that why you are crying? But for them, that's his Land Cruiser. So we need to look at issues from the perspective of that child and then begin to appreciate it. Once we can do that, you can get a lot of things correct.
So this is our challenge. I think each week we're going to be having our guests. We have a challenge for our parents tune in today or for the rest of the week till we come again on Thursday. Let's look at the 14 minutes with our children. And of course, we'll be glad to have your feedback next week on how it went. Right. I'm going to do that today. So I have 28 minutes. 14 for my son, 14 for my daughter. I will give you my feedback. Douglas' son can't talk yet, so
I'll still give him time.
You'll give him his 14 minutes.
He gets a lot of time for in the day.
So let's see how this challenge goes. Let's see how it goes, and we'll give a report on that 14 minutes with our children each day. And I'm sure we should have some good reports. We want to see some growth in our families. We want to see some growth in the relationship with our children, starting from this month. It's a process, but we've got to start from somewhere. Thank you all for joining in this conversation. We're back next week with Mr. Michael Ohene-Effah and Elder Amos. Elder Amos, thank you so much. You've been amazing joining in this conversation all the way from home.
My honor.
Yes.
It's always a delight to be in the company of JJD and Nikki Ohene-Effah. Bless you all.
Thank you so much. So we'll catch up with them again.
Right.
This has been the I Am Drive. Our time is up. We've got to go, but this is definitely a great start to a conversation on Raising Boys. Next week we continue. I'm Jennifer. I've been here with
Douglas.
Yes, and a big thank you to pardon, Douglas?
We see everybody next week.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that must be prophesy that we'll see you live next week. We'll see you live next week. A big thank you to the crew as well, Nana Kujo and Mr. Ohene-Effah. Thank you so much for coming through.
It's a pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
Keep listening to Sunny 88.7.